Greetings to everyone. Today's topic is Self Reliance. It was written by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson was born in the year 1803 at Boston, Massachusetts. He was an American essayist, philosopher, and poet. He, he is the key figure of the movement Transcendentalism. He was best known for his writings on individualism, self reliance, and nature. His father, who was a clergyman, when he was at the age of 8, his father died. After that, his mother and aunt, who took care of the family and their education, mostly his graduation on Harvard University. He became a clergy of Boston Church in the year 1832, but after 3 years, he resigned his post. While the time his wife also died. So his personal loss and his resignation made him a lonely or individual person. So Emerson decided to travel Europe and he stayed 3 years there, where he met Coleridge, Wordsworth, and most importantly, Carlyle, who was his lifelong friend. When he returned from Europe, he stayed in Concord. He began his public lecturing. Approximately, he has given more than 1,500 lectures and two more trips to Europe. He spent his rest of time in Concord. Emerson's notable works. First one is Nature, which was published in the year 1836. In that, he expressed the fundamental concepts of transcendentalism. The American scholar and the Divinity School of Address, these two lectures made him a famous person. And most importantly, the Self-Reliance, which also one of the best known work of him, which was published in the year 1841. He has written number of essays and poems too. Transcendentalism is a philosophical and literary movement that emerged in 1830s and 1840s in the United States, centered on the belief that individual can transcend the physical world and connect with a deeper spiritual truth. In this, key figures are Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. It emphasizes the self reliance, institution, and the inherent goodness of both people and nature. Transcendentalists believe in the importance of personal experience and direct connection with the divine. Nature is seen as a source of inspiration and spiritual insight. The movement advocates for individuality, nonconformity, and social change. It also rejects materialism and promotes a simpler, more meaningful life. In Self Reliance, Emerson emphasizes the importance of the individual soul as the ultimate source of wisdom and strength. Man is the deciding factor of his life. It is the soul in a man that turns him into the honest and perfect man. He believes that each person has an innate connection to a higher truth which guides their action. Man's action or his angels, whether they are good or evil, man's action always follows him like a shadow, which makes him to realize the essence of his self. Trust thyself. The word trust thyself were Emerson used as a slogan in this essay. which emphasizes the importance of self confidence and inner guidance. He argues that a human being has unique insights and abilities. Emerson believes that relying on their inner truth leads to their personal growth. By trusting thyself or oneself, an individual can achieve independence and true fulfillment. Originality is the key to true self. Here he states that where individuality shines without imitation, the person who may be a original, he would be a man of free thoughts, which leads to immortal, immortal soul, and a good man of the society. His views on consistency. Consistency is foolish by him. It is a respected by little man, little philosopher, statesman, and divines. A great soul has nothing to do with it. Open and vehement expression of what one feels and thinks every day makes a man great, even though he is misunderstood by his contemporaries. But the misunderstood need not dishearten a man. On the other hand, it is a symbol of greatness. A true man does not belong to a particular time or a place alone. He becomes the center of things. He measures all men and all the event and does not care for others. The true man becomes a country and an age, follows his footsteps like a train of followers. For example, Caesar's Roman Empire, Christ's message of love, Antony's monoism, Luther's Reformation, Fox's Quakerism, Wesley's Methodism, or some of the examples of a great man creating institutions. History itself is a continuous biography of a few sincere and honest men. So, so their footsteps like a train of followers. Emerson asks every man to know his worth, to stand upright, and to act with honesty and sincerity. Man should not behave like a thief or a beggar, but should deport himself like a prince. Kings have so far been instructing nations, they have been the attraction of men. Emerson says that the honor and the respect with which ordinary man treated kings and noblemen is a reflection of the nobility and the dignity of every ordinary man. He is not honest or upright. He is unable to express his ideas, his views, or his feelings, but quotes saints and saints or sages, men like a rose which lives afresh every day, can be happy and strong only we live with nature in the present without worrying himself about the past. We never worried about the past thing. Emerson says that men do not grow with the passage of time, but they are like a children remembering their past. We can see truly, truly when we live truly. He quote, "When a man lives with God, his voice shall be as sweet as a murmur of the brook and the rustle of the corn." So he says there is no use in talking about reliance when we rely on the past. The soul is and works and does not become. So virtuous men do not stick to one thing but are permeable to principles. So never to row about the places Our simplicity and our humility would naturally lead us to shun fortune. Men behave like a mob. We do not like to sit at home listening to prompting of the soul, but desire to go abroad in search of peace. We must be alone, but our isolation must not be mechanical, it must be spiritual. So, uh, so a human being must be spiritual, but but never search the God outside the world. A human being must search the God by within or by themselves. He again says hundreds of chances are opened to the human, but the self trust enables him to see the spectrum of new powers which are not controlled by useless laws, senseless books, and hopeless customs and tradition. He says the relation of the individual soul, which also to a oversoul, it's like a spiritual. He says universal soul always communicates with a individual soul. It's like a God. He sends message to all the souls. He he fills the world with its voice and light. He says, simple mind receives divine impulses. Divine impulse is quite wonderful. Old beliefs and convictions pass away gradually by the preaching of universal soul. He says, souls transcends the limitation of the bad and the mind which shines by its lights. So, so we live truly with the nature. We have an opportunity of having the true perception. Man's relation to God is shout to be changed by different creeds and churches. The self-relying man would, however, see the immortal light in the universe through his self-trust. Traveling to the foreign countries in search of peace and happiness is a superstitious, says Emerson. Uh, Emerson has no objection while people travel to other countries for the purpose of art or study or benevolence, but the person who travels without self reliance can only carry ruins to ruins. According to Emerson, he says traveling is like a fool's paradise. If one person does not find peace or happiness at his home, he never find the happiness or peace at any place. This is his view on traveling. He says a man could get peace only from himself and only from the success of good principles and definitely not from others. According to Emerson, a good society would be a society composed of good individuals. Emerson believed that social salvation could be achieved only through the salvation of the individual who composes the society. Emerson's individualism is not a dogmatism, for it simply means obedience to a higher law than the law of the society. It simply means that each should be true to his self or as individual. That self is guided and controlled by the oversoul. No law known to the society. The relation of a human soul and the divine spirit are so pure. He again emphasized self-reliance does not have a place of any moral or religious authority which lies outside the individual. Here, the self-reliance means freedom from both the past and the future. So, the self-reliance is a manifesto both of Emerson transcendentalism and individualism. It also expresses views on history, on prayer, on education, on travel, on property, on conformity and consistency, and a number of other subjects. Transcendentalism implies faith in the oversoul. In other words, self reliance is the obedience to the oversoul. Emerson felt that man must surrender himself fully to the oversoul and act accordance with the instincts and the institution of his soul which comes to him from the oversoul. Hence, self reliance means acting in accordance with the moral law which is derived not from the society but from the oversoul or the divine, the power that rules on high and which is the highest lawgiver both to men and the nature. Self reliance is based on the self existence. Finally, self reliance is also a key to understand the existence of the oversoul. The soul is no traveler. Self reliance, which would bring peace to man. The essay Self Reliance thus lays the foundation for the philosophy of life advocates by Emerson. Then the next slide. Here are the few quiz for you. And finally, there are few references for your future purpose. Thank you everyone.